All right, let's delve deeper into this breaking news here on RT and go straight to Hong Kong, where we're now joined live by Asia Times correspondent and international affairs analyst Pepe Escobar. A big hello to you from Moscow. Thanks so much for jumping on so quickly with this breaking news story, Pepe. Ultimately, Washington threatens Hong Kong with severe repercussions. Cooperate with us and let us get our hands on Mr. Snowden, the former CIA employee, current whistleblower. Somehow Hong Kong lets this high-profile figure slip under the radar and get out of town. How does that happen?
No, it's much better than the Bourne trilogy because it's live and it's happening in front of us. You remember until a few hours ago, in every outlet in U.S. corporate media was Washington intimating Hong Kong to extradite Snowden very quickly. You know what was happening here in Hong Kong? He was in contact with Hong Kong authorities. He was protected by them. He was in what they call a safe house. It was not. It was a safe place where he was talking to local officials. And they organized an escape route, which Snowden himself had already. It was already part of his plan A, according to another one of our sources here. Hong Kong would be a stopover. He would go to a third country. We still don't know if this is going to be Ecuador or Iceland. And by the way, in 3 hours in Moscow, it's going to be another stopover. He's not going to stay in Russia. So what he did, he came to Hong Kong. He released a lot of information to The Guardian first, and then to the South China Morning Post, the English language daily here. Especially these few, the last few documents he released are devastating because it proves that Tsinghua University, one of the top universities in China, in Beijing, was being hacked by the US. That Hong Kong was being hacked for 50
Indeed, we've been covering the story in depth, Pepe, about America's, basically, its empire of spying around the world, particularly in China. But when it comes to Hong Kong, so we understand Edward Snowden, according to you, he's in Hong Kong, he's in touch with the local media, he's in touch with officials who allegedly give him a possible escape route. Is it a part of defiance on the part of Hong Kong towards Washington, or more of a case of Hong Kong not wanting to get involved?
Definitely not, Rory. In fact, I wish I could read it for you, but I memorized a little bit. The Hong Kong government, they released a statement about 2 hours ago, after Snowden was already on SU-213 going to Moscow. They say that they didn't have enough elements to grant what the U.S. wanted, a provisional warrant of arrest, in fact. So they decided to, they didn't even release him because he was not in jail. Said he left Hong Kong in a normal, legal manner. And that's exactly what happened. He took a taxi, he went to the airport, and he boarded an Aeroflot flight.
Well, it certainly must be ruffling some feathers on Capitol Hill, to say the least. Ultimately, though, allegations. This former CIA employee turned whistleblower, Edward Snowden, allegations he's somewhere over Russian airspace, expected a touchdown in Moscow. You say Moscow won't be his final destination. Where do you think he'll go, or where do you think he's welcome to go?
No crystal ball, Rory, but another one of my sources told me that this was a plan A from the start. A stopover in Hong Kong, which lasted roughly 3 weeks, right? And now that he more or less, let's assume, we still don't know, that he organized his final destination. Could be Iceland, could be Ecuador. So Russia is going to be another stopover. The thing is, this is between two very important BRICS countries, China and Russia. China got itself out of the picture in terms of being close to Snowden, or at least interfering in his future. Russia won't be part of it, but Snowden is weaving a web where everybody is involved. The US, Russia, and China, But
Pepe, if I may, I'm sorry to jump in here. We're running so low on time, but Washington has made it very clear that it wants to get its hands on Snowden. To what extent? How far do you think Washington will go?
I was discussing this 5 minutes ago. What are they going to do? They're going to launch a Hellfire missile against an Aeroflot flight in Russian airspace? I think it's game, set, match. If Snowden arrives in Moscow in 3 hours and he connects, he stays in transit for two hours, and he departs for a third country, this is over. And
But
he's
do you
not
think,
going...
I mean, do you think that with Julian Assange, I mean, the world's most recognized WikiLeaker, the whistleblower, Julian Assange, in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, holed up for the past year. Now we have Edward Snowden trying to find a place of safe refuge. Do you think people like these two men inspire others to become whistleblowers, or perhaps it's all scaring other people to unveil the hidden truth around the world?
Oh, no, definitely. I would say we're going to have a collection of Assanges, Mannings, and Snowdens from now on, especially from a lot of US tech geeks that are extremely uncomfortable with this Orwellian panopticon surveillance state. Not only in the US, but we saw the revelations with Britain as well. It's an Anglo-American thing. Of course, everybody's involved in cyber war as well, but the forefront is the US.
All right, Pepe Escobar, international affairs analyst, joining us live from Hong Kong. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Roddy.